Question 15. 2.2 hours plus 1.5 days is equal to how many minutes? So in this case, we will convert 1.5 days into hours first. So one day has 24 hours. So 1.5 days will have 36 hours. So now we have 2.2 hours plus 36 hours. So that is equal to 38.2 hours, and these need to be converted into minutes. Now we know that 1 hour has 60 minutes. So therefore 38.2 hours will be equal to 38.2 multiplied by 60. So this is the same as multiplying 38.2 times 6 times 10. And when we multiply 38.2 with 10, we get 382. And then this needs to be multiplied by 6. So let's multiply 382 by 6. 6 times 2 is 12. 8 times 6 is 48. Plus 1, 49. And then 6 times 3 is 18. 18 plus 4 is 22. So we have 2,292 minutes. Looks like A is the correct answer. Question 16. What is the distance from point A over here to point B in the rectangle pictured below? So if this is a rectangle, then this side on the left is also equal to 21 inches. So the diagonal AB is right over here. Since this is a rectangle, this means this angle is 90 degrees, and we can use the Pythagorean theorem. So let's call this side small c. So we know from Pythagorean theorem that leg 1 square, which is over here, plus leg 2 square is equal to c square. So I'll write c square is equal to 21 square plus 20 square. So now 21 square is equal to 441 and 20 square is equal to 400. So c square is equal to 841. But we are interested in the value of c, which is nothing but the diagonal AB. So we take the square root on both sides. So square root of c square is equal to square root of 841. So on the left side we get small c, and on the right side we get 29. So the answer is 29 inches. Looks like C is the correct answer. Question 17. Which inequality statement matches the picture below? So in these type of questions, you have to pay attention to the solid circle over here. Sometimes this circle is also hollow. In that case, it means that number is not included. However, in this case, we have a solid circle on 16 and a solid circle on 19. So that means these two numbers are included. And then we have a dark line between 16 and 19. So that means that all the numbers between 16 and 19, including 16 and 19, are in the range. So therefore we will select D as the answer, where it says x is greater than or equal to 16 and less than or equal to 19. So that means that the number is between 16 and 19, including 16 and 19. So D is the correct answer. Question 18. Find the least common multiple of the numbers 16 and 100. One way to do this is to write the two numbers 16 and 100 and then take the greatest common factor. So in this case the greatest common factor is 4, and then 16 divided by 4 is 4, and then 100 divided by 4 is 25. There is no other common factor between 4 and 25. At this point we multiply 4 with this 4 and with this 25. So the LCM will be equal to 4 times 4 times 25. So 25 times 4 is 100, and 4 times 100 will be 400. So the LCM of 16 and 100 is 400. So A is the correct answer. Question 19. (123 base 5) is equal to what number in base 8? So 123 base 5 means that the 1's number is 3, the 5's number is 2, and the 5 square number is 1. So 5 square is nothing but 25. So now we multiply 25 with 1 and then add that to the product of 5 and 2 and add that to the product of 1 and 3. So what this will give us the number in base 10. So 25 times 1 is 25, 5 times 2 is 10, and 1 times 3 is 3. So this is 25 plus 10 is 35, 35 plus 3 is 38. So this number is 38 base 10. Now this needs to be converted into base 8. So in other words, the number in base 8 has a 1's number over here and the 8's number over here. So how many 8's are there in the number 38? So clearly 8 times 4 is 32. So we write 4 over here, and then the remainder is 38 minus 32, which is 6. So there are 6 ones over here. So the number is 46 base 8. So let's see if we have that choice. So choice E is 46. So let's select that. Question 20. Which of the following points does not lie on the line with the equation x plus y equal to minus 40? So one way to do this is to plug these numbers that we have into this equation and see whether the left hand side of equal to sign is equal to the right hand side of the equal to sign. So the first choice is 0, 8. So what we will do is for 0, 8 we will plug the value 0 in place of x and plug the value 8 or minus 8 in place of y, because the number that's given is 0, minus 8. So let's do that. So on the left hand side and then on the right hand side, we know that the number is minus 40. So on the left hand side, what we get is 0 plus 5 times minus 8. So that gives us 0 plus minus 40, so which is nothing but minus 40. So left hand side is minus 40 and right hand side is also minus 40. So that means that 0, minus 8 lies on this line with equation x plus 5y equal to minus 40. The question is, which of these points do not lie on this line? So let's test the choice B. When we test 5, 9, on the left hand side we get 5 plus 5 times 9, because the value of y is 9. What we get is 5 plus 45, which is equal to 50. So that is clearly not equal to the right hand side, which is minus 40. So that means 5, 9 does not lie on this equation. So let's select B as the answer. And if you want to be confident, you can check one more. So let's check choice C, which is 10, minus 10. So clearly when you plug 10 in place of x, you get 10. And then 5 times in place of y, we plug minus 10. So on the left hand side we get 10 minus 50, which is equal to minus 40, which is the same as the right hand side. So clearly point C is on this line. And similarly you can test choice D and choice E. You will find that both of these points lie on this equation. So the answer is B. Question 21. Simplify the following equations. So we have the x squared term, x term, and a constant term in each of these parentheses over here. So one way to do this is to collect the like terms. So let's collect all the x squared terms first. So we have the 4x squared. So let me write the x squared terms over here. So we have 4x squared, and in the second parenthesis we have minus of plus 5x squared. So minus times plus is minus, so we will write minus 5x squared. And then in the third parenthesis we have minus of minus 7x squared, so that will become plus 7x squared. And then in the fourth parenthesis we have plus minus 3x squared, so that will be minus 3x squared. So if we simplify all the x squared terms, what we will get is 4x squared minus 5x squared is minus x squared, plus 7x squared is 6x squared, and 6x squared minus 3x squared is 3x squared. So the x squared term will be 3x squared. Now take a look at the x terms. So in the first parenthesis we have the term minus 5x, and then in the second parenthesis we have minus of minus 2x, so that will become plus 2x. And then we have in the third parenthesis minus of minus 2x, so that will again become plus 2x. And then in the fourth parenthesis we have plus of minus x, so that will be minus x. So minus 5x plus 2x is minus 3x, minus 3x plus 2x is minus x, and minus x minus x is minus 2x. So now let's take a look at the constant term. We have 6 in the first parenthesis. In the second parenthesis we have minus of minus 4, so that becomes plus 4. In the third parenthesis we have minus of 3, so let's write minus 3. In the fourth parenthesis we have plus of plus 2, so that's plus 2. So 6 plus 4 is 10, 10 minus 3 is 7, 7 plus 2 is 9. So the answer is 3x squared minus 2x plus 9, and clearly choice A matches with our answer, so we'll select that. Question 22. How many total diagonals can be drawn in a regular octagon? So octagon has 8 sides. The formula for determining the total diagonals in any polygon is n times n minus 3 divided by 2, where n is the number of sides. So in this case we plug 8 in place of n, so we have 8 times 8 minus 3 is 5 divided by 2. So 8 times 5 is 40, 40 divided by 2 is 20. So we select B as the answer. The reason why we have this formula n into n minus 3 divided by 2 is this. In any polygon, let's say we have a polygon which is a pentagon. If you pick any vertex, let's say we pick this vertex, the number of diagonals that you can draw from this point is equal to, let's say, 1, 2, and that's it. And the reason for this is you cannot draw a diagonal from this vertex to the adjacent vertex, which is this one, and then you cannot draw a diagonal to the other adjacent vertex, which is this one, and you cannot draw a diagonal from this vertex to this vertex itself. So that's why there are 3 vertices which we need to subtract from the total number of vertices. So the total number of vertices in this case is 5. So we subtract 3 from it and we get a number 2. So that's why we have the formula. In the formula we have the term n minus 3. Now from each of these vertices we can draw n minus 3 diagonals. However, if we do that, we will be double counting the diagonals. So that's why we multiply this by n over 2. So that's how we get this formula n into n minus 3 divided by 2. Okay, so now let's take a look at question 23. Question 23 is 154 feet per second is equal to how many miles per hour? So the conversion factor or the relation between feet per second and miles per hour is 88 feet per second is equal to 60 miles per hour. So you should memorize this. So therefore 154 feet per second will be equal to how many miles per hour? So one way to do that is, let's call this as x. We can cross multiply. So 88x will be equal to 154 times 60. Now you can divide both sides by 88. 22 times 4 is 88, and 22 times 7 is 154, and then 60 divided by 4 is 15. So what we get is, so we can cancel 88 and 88 also on the left side. So x is equal to 7 times 15, which is 105. So I'll select E as the answer. Question 24. What is twice the measure of angle N, which is right here in this picture? So if this angle is 48, what is angle N? We know that this total angle from this point to this point is 180 degrees. So N plus 48 is equal to 180. So if we subtract 48 from both sides, we get N is equal to 180 minus 48, which is 132. Now the question is, what is twice the measure of angle N? So that means they are asking for 2 times N. Now 2 times 132 is 264. So let's select E as the answer. Question 25. The Roman numeral XLVI multiplied by Roman numeral XCIV is equal to what Arabic number? So we know that in XLVI, L is 50, and because X is written to the left of it, that means this number is 40, and then we have VI, that means it is 6. So the first number over here is 46. In the second number, XCIV, we know that C is 100, and because X is written to the left of it, this number is 10 less than 100, so this is 90. And we know that V is 5, and because I is written to the left of V, that means IV is 4. So this number is 94. So the question is basically, what is the product of 46 and 94? So one way to multiply 46 and 94 is by writing 46 as 50 minus 4 and multiply this by 100 minus 6. So 50 times 100 is 5,000. 50 times minus 6 is minus 300. Minus 4 times 100 is minus 400. And minus 4 times minus 6 is plus 24. So 5,000 minus 300 is 4,700. Minus 400 is 4,300, plus 24 is 4,324. So the answer is A, 4,324. Question 26. The number 465.8 into 10 to the power minus 6 written in scientific notation is equal to which of the following? So in the scientific notation, the decimal is immediately after the first number. So we want the decimal to move 2 places to the left, 1 and 2. So we want this number to be 4.658, and then we have to adjust the exponent for 10 to the power minus 6. So we will write 10 to the power minus 4 because we have already shifted the decimal by 2 places to the left. So we reduce the number from 6 to 4 over here. So let's see, looks like choice E is the correct answer.